Hello, everyone. This is Renee Collins Cobb, the host of Overtones Live, and you are listening to Radiolex, the voice of the people, on WLXU 93.9 LPFM Lexington, and streaming on radiolex.us. Music is in the air and on the air in Lexington as the Burl presents Rags and Riches, the homecoming show on Friday, July 1st. The Burl is a dedicated music venue located right in the heart of Lexington, Kentucky's Distillery District on 375 Thompson Road, Lexington, Kentucky. They will be appearing with their friends Wicked Peace and DJ Forerunner. And as a result of this showcase of Lexington talent, you will enjoy a full night of great music at the Burl right here in Lexington.
I'm feeling love.
Rags and Riches were officially on a national tour that lasted 45 days and started right here in Lexington at the Burl. And to tell us about that tour, their upcoming performance at the Burl, and their new album release titled Always Gold, are Tanner Whitt and Peyton Whitt, Rags and Riches, talking to us here in the Radiolex Studio today. Tanner and Peyton, welcome to WLXU.
Thank you for having us.
Guys, first of all, Rags and Riches are a beloved and well-appreciated band here in Lexington. And you are also Lexington Music Award winners in 2 categories this year. So before we talk about the tour, tell us about Rags and Riches' acclaimed history with delighting fans all across the state and also the nation.
Yeah, so we started back in 2019, and it's been a blast doing this, and we just recently won the Lexington Music Award for Song of the Year and Pop Artist of the Year, and so we got off our tour, and yeah, it's been a blast doing what we've been doing.
And you all are brothers?
Yeah.
How long have you been that way?
We are 5 years apart.
Are you really?
Yeah,
I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah.
So how old are you, Tanner?
I'm 29.
Okay, and
24.
You? Wow, I thought you all were closer in age than
yeah.
that. So I learned something new every day.
Yeah.
So you all had a great time on your tour, and it was so fun watching all of your social media posts. I felt like a lot of us were living very vicariously through all of the adventures. So what was your favorite part of the tour?
That's difficult for sure.
I mean, obviously the shows are incredible always, but seeing like the places, like we got to see like Yellowstone, like the Grand Teton and all that, like just craziness out there in the West, and it's so beautiful out there.
Wonderful. Can you give us a perspective of where you kind of started and maybe where you ended and all of your favorite cities along the way?
Yeah, so we kicked off here in Lexington, and then our first show beyond that was Chicago. And so we went from Chicago and kind of worked our way up, Minneapolis, North Dakota, South Dakota. Then we were all over in between like Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, that whole area. Went down to New Mexico, Oklahoma, and kind of worked our way over, and then all the way over to North Carolina, South Carolina, then down into Florida, and kind of all the way around back up into Kentucky. So we hit 27 states, and it was an absolute blast seeing. I would say, where would you say some of your favorites?
Like Oklahoma, like city was amazing. Yeah.
The fans there were really cool, and then in Tulsa too. We love Albuquerque just for the food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, I can't remember the exact city, but it was really cool, like venue, and the people were awesome. Yeah, Longmont.
And did I see that you all kind of had a combination of some, like you had some fraternity shows, or like, tell me what that was about, because it just seemed like there was also schools, right?
Yes, schools.
So talk to us about the range of experiences that you had along the way.
The fraternity show actually came up. It was a super interesting story, I'll just tell you. So we show up to this venue we were supposed to play at, and it was just really rough, and there was people doing like extreme drugs outside, and so we were like, probably not the best environment, and so we actually just felt like we should leave. So we got back in the van, and I was like, well, we have to play a show. We can't just not do something tonight. And Ashton, which is my fiance's brother, was like, what if we go try to get a frat to let us throw like a house show? And so we drove over to University of Oklahoma, and we're like walking around on College Way over there, just hopping, like leaning over people's fences, and we're like, "Hey, you guys want like a show?" And so one of the frats there was incredible, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then they invited a bunch of people over, and they were wild, and we had an absolute blast. And so the whole night ended up being one of our favorite shows of the whole tour, because it was something outside the box we had never done before. And then we got to work at a school.
It was a Catholic school in Bishop Hill, I think, Illinois.
Kewanee, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
But yeah, we went in there and got to talk to their choir. That was really cool. And you just had like a Q&A with them, and then got to put on a performance for the students as well. And I said it felt like we were filming Smells Like Teen Spirit's old music video, like, because the whole school was like jumping and bouncing on the bleachers. But yeah, it was such a cool experience.
Yeah.
I was so happy. I loved seeing both the remnants of the fraternity show and the school show.
Yeah.
It was just such great participation. And let's give it up for Ashton for such a great idea, right? You know,
it was a great idea.
I am finding out more and more. I mean, we try to schedule things and we try to prepare and plan, and I come from that school. You know, myself, the planning and preparation school. But it just seems like more and more, the more spontaneous,
Yes,
the better the show is. And it's just amazing to see that and to see you all live that out through this tour. And you all had such great pictures too. I hope you're planning on some kind of like little movie like review, like where we can kind of see where you all went. Maybe with like a map, and you could like show like where you went on the map.
That's a good idea.
Just giving you some good ideas here. So that leads me to my next question, which is, what is life like on the road? Because I think a lot of people think it's very glamorous, right? And I'm sure for some artists it is, maybe. But tell us, you know, what is it like on the road? And then what were some of the more interesting, unexpected things that happen on the road as well?
I mean, the living is, not all glamorous. We sleep in the van half the time and take showers at Planet Fitness.
Good idea.
Yeah. And so and then like hours upon hours just driving in the van to get to the next venue. And you don't get to see too much, but when you do, you try to see everything.
Yeah, there was some crazy experiences of just running into interesting people for sure. And that actually might be one of our favorite parts of anything, is just meeting the people, and then obviously running into certain people that are like just crazy. Which makes it like for good stories. And there's some really, really good stories on that end of things that happen, and just wild adventures, I guess, what I would call them.
Who was the most wildest person you think you encountered? As far as, I mean, did anybody just come up and just start a conversation with you just right out of the blue, or?
Oh yeah, that's pretty like normal, like especially just being out and about, because we normally like to go out before shows. As soon as we get everything set up, we'll like to go out and like invite people out in like a park or wherever is close by the venue. And so you just run into like the most interesting people, and people come up and ask you the most random questions, but it makes all for like the best stories. And I'll always say there's like moments where for sure we probably weren't entirely safe or something like that happened too, but I think at the end of the day, like looking back, it just makes for like the whole experience, and taking all those moments in for sure. We'll like remember those the rest of our life for sure.
I just think people are just infinitely curious these days. I think especially after being boxed up for 2 years. About anything is fascinating right now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your album, which I've got to tell you guys, I love.
Thank you.
And I've been playing it so much.
Thank you.
I love the CD so much.
Thank
and
you.
You all have been on Overtones Live, and you're all going to also be on Overtones Live July 28th, I believe, at the Tipsy Cow this time. So close to home, Lexington, and Georgetown's going to get to experience you on that beautiful stage. I know what my favorites are, but let me hear from both of you all. What do you think your favorites are on the album?
I mean, I like the ones that people are listening to a lot, like Pressure and some of those, but I think Victim is like one of our best live songs.
I won't play victim to the world. Won't start a riot, what's the use? 'Cause aren't you my brother, my sister, my friend? I won't play victim to the world.
And so that song's always like had a special place for me. And then I really like Mind Control because it's so unique and different. And then the rap section towards the back end of the song, I think it just throws everybody off, and I love seeing people's faces when that part kicks in because it's just like unexpected. So those are probably my personal favorites right now.
A wicked world living here in this hypnosis. A little simple step back with things in focus, and no one ever fall in line. You can't control us. The game controllers. Your system's broken. Backbone, we bite down the wolf style. Fight manipulation, we won't live by a narration. Everybody in the nation stand up.
Yeah, I would say Pressure for sure is one of my favorites, and State of Mind.
Not a second to waste, not a minute to lose. Change is coming my way, gonna seize every moment, yeah. Not a second to waste, not a minute to lose. Change is coming my way, gonna seize every moment.
But then hindsight as well, it was we got to feature like my grandfather at the end of it on the song, and that was really cool to have him on there. Like we can have it for years, you know, down the road. So
he wrote the little like poem that's kind of at the end of the album, closing out those final statements. And yeah, I think it'll be, looking back one day, like 20, 30 years from now, it'll be special for us for sure.
Life is full of pain and misery, good and bad, ups and downs, ins and outs. Take the good with the bad. Keep the best of times close, and never, ever fear the future.
Well, that's awesome. And I have to also talk to you all about the wonderful video that you all produce. And I believe you all do all of that, don't you?
So
You're
just
very theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll work with different people to shoot the video and everything like that, and they do the editing. But we mostly write everything that is seen visually, and those things. That's kind of something we like to put our hand into, as well as the writing scripts and things.
Do you all have a theatrical background at all, like in high school, or?
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
Do you like to watch movies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So do you get a lot of your ideas from?
Yeah.
And I find myself now that, you know, we've all got movies and films behind us, it's really kind of hard to watch films these days because you're like, oh, I wonder why they did that. And I like the lighting on that. Ooh, that was a cool angle.
Yeah.
And of course, I love Outlaw.
Thank you.
And I would like to ask you to describe the process of making Pressure, because that is a fan favorite and it's really had a great reach.
Yeah.
And you've had some interesting local characters in this film as well. So talk to us about that from kind of start to finish.
Yeah. So that song, we actually wrote that song back in, it was probably 2018, 2017. We held on to it. We've been playing it since then, but we were like, we knew that song was something special, and we wanted to wait till the right moment when we had like the right funding and everything to do the right marketing. And also we wanted it to be like a sports anthem song, which led to the whole idea and concept of getting some of these University of Kentucky athletes in the video. And so we just started reaching out to different ones, and we knew Dominique Hawkins through a mutual friend, and just kind of started reaching out. And then we went big and we're like, let's try to get Will Levis, because that's like, you know, that's who we really wanted out of anyone. And so we reached out, and he was super, super kind and easy to work with, and just gave us the opportunity to do that. And it was really cool. Another just cool experience to be on the field with them and, you know, just throwing football.
Am I out of of my league. I'm anxious, hesitating. Do I have what it takes? Will I own this or lose it? I've never wasted a minute, always tried to go get it. I've built up my strength, prepared for the sting. Lightning through my veins, and the crowd chant my name. Adrenaline is pumping, igniting the flame. I'm rolling with the punches, finding my way. I got this weight on my back, so I'm setting the pace. When all is said and done, I'll be crowned a legend. The bell's about to ring and I'm feeling the pressure, pressure. I'm feeling the pressure, pressure.
I know I've given you my feedback about the album, but what are your fans and your friends and your family telling you that they love best about this album?
We've been getting a lot of like wide, I guess, people's opinions on it. Some people are like the last three on it are the best and the hidden gems that people are not even really like paying attention to as much. But a lot of people have really, really wrote back and said like, hey, like Hindsight's incredible. And we didn't realize that, we didn't even think that that one would be one that people would even really pay attention to because it's that last song. But there's been so many people that you can tell they've listened to the whole thing. And I've had a friend in Sacramento was like, I've listened to the whole album 3 times. And he was like, and the back end is like my 3 favorite songs. He was like, it just feels like completely different, but it also felt, you know, like what he wanted to hear. And he said he even added like Hindsight onto like his moodier playlist when he's in deep in thought. And I was like, that's really cool just because that song is like motivational in its own way. The normal like feedback is everyone loves Pressure and Always Gold and State of Mind and Speed of Sound and The Beast. So those have kind of been the front forerunners for sure.
What are some of your favorite songs that are not on this album that perhaps are some of it in your earlier body of work?
I think Outlaw, you know, it'll always be one. I think we just really... that one was one we dove into and just I feel like we immersed into that one, and because it was such like a interesting writing this story and we weren't writing just a rags and riches song, it felt like we were writing like just a novel or something.
I'm a midnight rider in the moonlight, a silent criminal addicted to the high life, the man of the hour, of the world of its power. I'm living in the shadows, hidden from the gallows. I've been on the run too long, like an outlaw. Wind at my back, a young gun desperado, dead or alive, a wanted man, no fear in these bones. Running for my life, swift and fast like freedom's within sight.
And then Tension of the Season, because we wrote that about our grandfather, and that one has, even on tour this time around, like people were loving that song and really connecting with it because it was just, I feel like a lot of people have went through a lot of things over the past 2 years, and that song was just something that everyone can relate to. Any of yours?
No, Summer Nights for sure. It's always like live. That one's always fun. Like people get up and dance, and I feel like that one's the one that if they haven't like broke out of their shell yet, then that's when they finally start like dancing or something to kind of like break out. So.
Well, I have to tell you all, and I don't know if I've told you the story. I may have, but it's kind of famous in the Warren and Renee folklore. But we came to see you all up on your invitation to the Burl, and I'm fairly convinced we were the oldest people there that night, and that's okay. We love the cross-generational approach to Lexington music here, and I'm just always amazed when I look at any band that's at the Burl and to see the range in generations and the range in cultures that we do get to experience there. But like I said, I'm deaf in one ear, so it's not real hard for me to go right up to the front row at any of these things. I had all of your young friends behind me, and they were so sweet and so nice. And I heard somebody say, I wonder if Tanner's going to crowd surf tonight. And I just looked at Warren and I said, I think we got to get out of here. If you all are like relying on us for that, you all might be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah. So we moved over over to the side. But you just put on such an exciting show. What do you think your fans can expect at this show that's coming up on July the 1st?
I think we get some new tricks up our sleeve. We've been working on some different things that we haven't been able to pull off before, as well as some old things that we're going to bring back and that we haven't done in a little while. So it's going to be a little bit of everything, but obviously I think this time around, because I've heard from numerous people, they were like, hey, I think this show's going to be my favorite now because I know all of your songs that are out, and pretty much we have majority of our songs out that we actually all of the songs right now that we're playing are out now. So that should be a really cool experience, just being able to like everyone actually connect and be able to sing majority of the songs now is going to be I think a even better experience.
You all engage your audience like no other band I've ever seen, and I just want to say that because people have heard your music, they often know the words. Yeah. And if they don't, you do not feel left out in this audience because you actually go through some things that the audience can do to make this very interactive. I think that's absolutely critical. Yeah. And where did you kind of get your background in doing that, in the way that you have stage presence and that you engage your audience? Yeah. I think I know, but maybe not everybody else does.
Yeah. So we grew up in church, and basically since we were real little, like our mom was like on the worship team and everything, and so we've always been involved like in that aspect at the church. And I think you started playing when you were in middle school in the band, or?
Yeah, it was probably middle school for sure.
And then obviously I was too young, but we started like leading the kids like music, then worked our way up to like the youth group, and he was like the worship leader of the youth group, and then we kind of took over as like the main band, and he actually still leads worship at Motion Church. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's where we kind of like felt like got the comfortableness of the stage and like able to lead people.
It works for you all so well, and it's very courageous because I've seen it go, not as well as it does with you all, but it takes a level of courage and bravery to engage the audience, and it also takes a level of courage for the audience to feel psychological safety to participate in music like that. Yeah. So I just really want to thank you all for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me take a moment here to talk about the Burl a little bit, because let me just tell you an experience we had. We were in Austin, Texas this last week, and we got to see Amos Lee and Neil Francis at Austin City Limits. That's cool. I was looking at Neil Francis's poster that was for sale. He's going to be at the Burl in July. Started talking to his tour manager, and I said, oh, he's going to be in Lexington at the Burl. And he's like asking me about it, and he says he's very excited about it. But what do you think the allure of the Burl brings to not only the local landscape here, but attracts those out-of-state artists to want to come here as well?
I mean, they've created definitely like an experience and an environment that's very unique for sure, because even like of all the places when we've been on tour and stuff, it's very like when you come to the Burl, kind of the landscape of the night and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's what they've created, and that makes it super special.
It's sometimes kind of hard, and you all probably know as well from touring all over the country, to not really know who's going to show up at your shows. Yeah. I mean, that takes a level of courage and bravery as well. Yeah. I have found that the Lexington audiences are really always welcoming to all artists that are on that stage. Will you have copies of your album for sale at the Burl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we will for sure. We actually have the actual albums now for sale. So yeah, so they will be for sale at the Burl, as well as all of our new merch line that came out for the tour.
Let me ask you, what does the next 6 months look like for you guys?
We have a lot of collabs we're working on with different artists, and then also we're setting up shows right now for later in the year, probably another tour that we're going to go on. It won't be as long, but another tour.
The collabs are probably like our main focus right now, and then we do have some like festivals we're a part of the rest of the year around the state.
I know of many friends who will be in attendance at the Burl on July 1st, where Rags and Riches will be enduring fans of Kentucky music. And Tanner, where can those fans who do not already have tickets go for further information?
Yeah, they can go to our website, www.ragsandrichesmusic.com, and there's a link on there that they'll be able to get them on etickets.com.
This is Renee Collins Cobb from Overtones Live on Radiolex, WLXU 93.9 LPFM. And Tanner and Peyton, that's Rags and Riches, we are so incredibly pleased and honored that all along your magnificent touring journey, that our musical paths have crossed today. Thank you for talking with us today about the Rags and Riches 2022 tour and the homecoming show at the Burl on July 1st.
Thank you for having us.
There may be shadows, darkness and moonlight. Midnight begins, though dawn's not far. The strong but quiet anticipation. Life at the crossroads isn't all that easy, easy, easy. Everything shining ain't always gold. The future's elusive, the past made bold. Daydreams and visions and more untold. Everything shining ain't always gold. Gold, gold, gold. Ages and ages, when you look back and you think to yourself, did I take the wrong road? Should I go back? Just remember, there's always fool's gold. The path you chose is the only one you'll ever know. You'll ever know. Everything shining ain't always gold. The future's elusive, the past made bold. Daydreams and visions and more untold. Everything shining ain't always gold. Gold, gold, gold. It takes courage, it takes heart. There's a moment and you know it when you get there.